How does MIG welding with a shielding gas compare to flux core welding, which the marketing folks often call gasless MIG? And if you are flux core welding, how does a high-end $2,000 machine compare to a budget $200 machine? If they all do the same thing, are you just wasting your money with getting a nicer setup?
I guess it really just depends on what you're doing. One of my most common questions, or really my most common question from beginners, is which welding process to use. Should I MIG it? Should I TIG it? Should I use flux core or stick weld it? But the biggest one that I'm asked a lot about is between wire feed processes, whether to use self-shielded flux core or a regular MIG welding, short circuit MIG welding process. So we're going to break down the difference between both of those here in this video. We'll run a few examples to see which one might work better for you. We'll start off by welding with MIG here, and I have solid steel wire. You can see it has a copper color. That's just a coating on it. And I'm using a blend of argon and carbon dioxide here, 75% argon, 25% CO2, which is the most common here in the United States.
Now with both processes, there's an electric arc at the end of the wire to create your heat. The wire feeds out of the gun to add metal to your puddle. And in this case with MIG, there's a shielding gas coming out of that nozzle to protect all of it from reactions with the air. Now let's apply this to an actual weld joint. Now getting a good weld with any process is largely about getting comfortable and holding your material in place, because if you're wiggling all around like that plate is, it's not going to work out. So I'm going to head over and actually clamp this down before I run the weld. Now with the plate clamped down, notice I can comfortably make it across my entire weld without the whole thing wiggling around. So let's go ahead and run this weld. Now you'll notice I'm using a slight push angle, or my gun is angled forward in the direction of travel. You can actually run either direction with short circuit MIG welding. Now some people get real carried away with the movement. I like to stay right with my puddle and just make small movements to be able to help me see where I'm going and pace my progression as I weld along the joint. Now this is the finished MIG weld here. It's just ready to go. There's nothing to clean off the surface, and it does have a bit of a convex profile to it. If you wanted to flatten that out, it's a simple settings change increasing voltage.
Now let's go ahead and load this flux core spool into the MIG welder there and run a flux core bead with the same machine and see how that compares. So the flux core wire isn't solid, it's a tube, and the metallic tube adds additional steel to your weld as filler, and inside of it is a powdered flux that reacts with the heat of the arc to shield and protect that molten puddle from the atmosphere without any additional shielding gas. It's really a genius invention if you ask me. So you got to keep a finger on this wire here. It's going to unspool on me. Now for flux core, you often use a different drive roll. The other thing you usually have to do with flux core wire is to swap the polarity, so the positive will actually be connected to your work. If you don't have them on the front, you might have to change them inside, or some machines will automatically switch. Now if the wire threaded through, you don't technically need this gas nozzle because there's gas, and I've seen guys run without it to try to see better, or I don't know what, but the problem with that is you get a bunch of spatter with self-shielded flux core, and then you're going to get it all over these threads, all in this diffuser and things like that. So I'd just go ahead and run the regular nozzle if that's all you have. There are also these little protectors you can get that can go over like that. Those are pretty handy, but you don't necessarily need that. I'm just going to use the regular nozzle today.
So let me point out a few things as I make my run here. The first is that I'm using a drag angle, and that's because the remaining flux deposits a slag over the top of the weld bead, and using that drag angle where I'm pointing backwards pushes the slag backwards on top of my weld bead instead of getting it trapped inside. Also, I'm using a slightly longer distance from my gun to my work. And if you notice, there is a lot of fume coming off. So if you're welding inside, this can be a big disadvantage. You'll definitely want some ventilation, if not, at a minimum, a fan and some open doors. Now, one advantage, though, is that the shielding gas won't be blown away. So if you are welding outside in windy conditions, flux core can actually be really advantageous because you won't have breezes blowing that gas out of the way.
So here is that joint as welded, and you can see all the fume that settled onto it. And if you look at it, it's just kind of a scary appearance there. And what this is slag, which is the remaining material after that flux burns off. And so you need to chip that off or remove it. This is a chipping hammer here. This is a pretty nice one, but there's all sorts, and you can just drag that along here and scrape. So that can scrape the majority of the hardened slag off, and then just use a wire brush to finish it. And so there's the weld itself. I will just point out I started moving a little bit too soon there, so there's a slight lack of fusion at the beginning of the weld, but you know, I think you get the idea. And if you notice, there's a little bit more spatter, but not a ton. So this worked really pretty well. So that was the result with a $2,000 machine. Let's see how that compares with the result from a $200 machine. I have a little bit different wire in this one. This is 030, so it's a smaller diameter wire. This will run 030 or 035. And this is E71T-GS. That GS is what you're going to see at the end of a lot of flux core wires, and that's a general schedule, so the actual composition is up to the wire manufacturer a little bit, and it is just a single pass. That S is a single pass wire because it can build up elements as you make multiple passes without the base metal to dilute it, and you can lose properties. So keep that in mind if you want to run multiple passes. The E71T-11, like we ran in the last example, is probably going to be a better fit. Now if you look at the gun you get on something like this, it's definitely not as solid a build, and it doesn't have the gas nozzle in this case. Some of the cheaper flux core machines actually do have a gas nozzle. I don't know why, but this is a pretty good setup.
Now, when I started this run here, I just want to point out an issue that I ran into in case you have a similar problem. Notice how it's sputtering out, and I could hear some squealing in the background and tell that the drive rolls were slipping. So I stopped to go and make an adjustment to those, tighten up the tension a little bit, and it ran great after that. Now, the big differences, there's two with an inexpensive machine like this, other than build quality, but actually running it. One is that you end up progressing a lot more slowly with a machine like this. Now, it's a lower amperage machine. It plugs into a 120 volt outlet. And so part of the way they make up for that is just a slower travel speed. The other is there's just a lot more spatter coming off of it. Now, this is a lot smoother and better than the black one that Harbor Freight sells that actually has an AC output. But you still get more spatter with a machine like this, from my experience, than you'll get with a MIG welder running flux core in most cases. So keep those things in mind when you're deciding between the two.
Now the first thing I'm going to point out here is just how much more weld spatter you have here on the bottom with that inexpensive machine. I know this is different wire than I was running in the Miller, but I've run, you know, probably 5 different types of wire here in this titanium, and I usually get just a bit more spatter. It's just the way that it runs. Let's clean the slag off here and take a look at the weld. You can see you get a pretty smooth flat bead there, and I've tested these before for strength with this machine, and they're very stout, strong welds. So let's take one more look at these weld beads. This right here is solid wire with gas. You can see how smooth that came out. No post cleanup at all. It's just ready to go. This is the flux core wire in a MIG welder, and I've done this in not just you know, a higher end machine like this, but also in more budget friendly MIG welders, and they generally do run a bit smoother than the dedicated flux core machines. And then right here is just the budget option. You're gonna have good strength with any of these options. Hey, well, thanks a ton for tuning in today. If you are just learning to weld, or you wanna learn faster than you will watching YouTube videos and just trying it on your own and beating your head against the wall, check out my online courses linked in the description. I keep them as affordable as possible, $39 for a course, or you can buy all 4 at a deep discount if you bundle them together. I walk you step by step. It's real hands-on exercises. You're gonna spend less time in front of a screen and more time under the hood, where you're gonna learn one small thing at a time, and it's worked really well for thousands of people. And if it doesn't work for you, just send me an email. I'll send you your money back. No questions asked, no hard feelings there. And thanks a ton for tuning in. If you enjoyed this or learned something, let me know by hitting that thumbs up or leaving me a comment, and we'll see you next time.